Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Four Lads Friday Night Live. I'm going to explain to you, ladies and gentlemen, why we were late. Amrit has a new laptop, which we bought from sponsors' funds. And me and Calvin ready to go. And Amrit, in a panic, was on his phone and on his laptop. But his laptop wasn't working. It was a black screen and he couldn't figure out how it was working. So I had to FaceTime Amrit. And it turned out that he'd forgot to open the wee clip at the top of his screen that you can cover, just like that. You can cover the website, or you can cover the webcam, rather. And it was all black and he didn't know what to do. And we fixed it for him. So, yes, that is why we're late. I very much apologise to everybody. Calvin, what can I say, mate?
Well, it was a good bit of entertainment to get us going. There's nothing like a Full Lads Friday without a technical issue, or a Thursday, or a Wednesday, or a Tuesday, or a Monday, or a Saturday, Sunday. There's always something.
But any day that ends in Y, isn't it?
Any day that ends in day. So it was a good start. But other than that, really positive week. Starting to see some things come together with Rangers. All right. Okay, the results weren't perfect, but some of the bits of promise that we've seen and some of the reports we've had, looking forward to it. And there is a bit of news dwindling in the background, as I'm pretty sure we've all seen coming from the media over for Serbia and rumours over in Norway. So it'd be good to get a wee chat about it.
Yeah, we can. Certainly, there's plenty of us to discuss. Amrit, the main man, good evening, mate. How are you?
Hello, Stevie. I'm good now. Apologies to you and Calvin and to all the members and listeners. It was indeed my fault. I should just stick to making ice cream, Stevie, because this technical stuff is definitely not for me. Yeah, so we got there in the end, but I'm very grateful to you, Stevie, for this lovely new laptop and this microphone. So thank you very much. Everyone will be able to hear me loud and clear. I'm not sure they'll be delighted about that, but they're hearing me anyway. So thank you, Stevie, for getting me these really great pieces of kit.
You are welcome. A valued member of the squad, so it's nice to get you the right stuff. Before we start, ladies and gentlemen, big thank you to our sponsors, CBD Oil Scotland. Use their website online, place an order, and you will get 30% off by quoting Four Lads. If you buy before Wednesday, you will go into the exclusive draw for hospitality for the West Ham game, which is a £400 prize. 2 tickets to hospitality West Ham. We're going to draw that next. We won't draw it on Wednesday night, actually, because Rangers will be playing St Etienne that night. So we'll maybe do it on the Tuesday or the Friday, depending on how close. I don't want to leave it too close and then people need to make arrangements and stuff like that. So if you bought, you'll be in the draw. If you want to buy, go ahead, just quote Four Lads and you will be in that draw. Also, huge thanks to Candid. We'll get to them in a wee minute. Our ice cream partners. And you've all met the man behind Candies. LBJ Consultants, Elite Scooter Scotland, Metaclad, our roofing partners, and Cosmetics by Sharon, which you can also get 10% off. We're doing a little bit on social media. You'll see us introduce all our partners and sponsors as well. We have a new social media man. Calvin is the main man. So you're seeing lots of things go out on social media. That's because Calvin has taken over the duties. So that is all good. Gentlemen, Rangers came back from 2 goals down last night in Spain in the final friendly match against JDT. Started with Kelly in goals, Sterling, Godfrey, Fernandez, and Romans. Neil, Diamande, Curtis, and Gassama made up the 4 in mid, and it was Shankland up top with Nadiri as well. Rangers would go 2 goals down in the second half, a bit of a nightmare start. High press got broken, and they broke away, and a ball across the face of goal got tucked in at back post, and then for the second, Sterling tripped or fell, slipped, whatever you want to call it, and went the striker to put it past Kelly and make it 2. That was 2 in 3 minutes, but Rangers themselves got 2 in 5 goals from Tochi Chugwani. First one inside the box, and second one, an absolute cracker from 30 yards out in the top corner. A couple of changes as well, but all in all, another useful workout. That Malaysian mob haven't been beaten since 2021 or something domestically. This is like a champ man cheat, isn't it? Like we just keep loading it up every week so you win every game and stuff like that. But for Rangers, I think we take the draw, we take the result, don't we? And the positives from it. Some mistakes, but good fighting spirit already. I'm told Derek McInnes was very animated on the touchline, getting them going. The players were responding. I'll take that. Pre-season is all about, heading in the right directions, getting a bit rustiness, mistakes out your legs. 2 good goals, another fight back from the team. Don't know when they're getting beat. These are all positive signs for me, Calvin.
Yeah, it's obviously last week we were back in Scotland behind closed doors games. They got the wins early compared to last season. Now they're on the pre-season trip. They're getting absolutely hammered, as we've seen in the training videos. We've seen after the Kaiser Chiefs games, they were back on the pitch training as well. So in these games, you will get moments just due to the fatigue that they're going through. But that's what we've wanted. We've seen so many times you look at the players and you go, they're getting away with murder. So these extensive training sessions are definitely going to be something that helps in the long run. We've seen it before with Gerrard when the fitness was there. And when Gio came in, that perfect blend of attitude, fitness from the first one, and then with Gio's kind of tactics, it all helps. So these heavy training sessions are getting is looking good. And you're starting to see certain players who were maybe a little bit unexpected to be good, because everybody wasn't sure on players like Dan Neil. I think there's still an argument between people saying he's a 6 and an 8. Based on what I've seen, he looks like an 8. He has got a bit more drive. Then you'll see other reports saying he's the person that can sit. So, but it was also good to see Lon Shanklin get the blue jersey on for the first time, and he suits it very well, if you don't think so myself. So, yeah, interesting start. Fitness is there. Hard work, but there's plenty more to come as more players come back from the World Cup and some interesting signings hopefully come through the door.
Yep, Amrit, what did you make of the week in Spain and last night's result?
Yeah, I think, Stevie, that this is just the first step of many under the new regime, and there are positive signs coming out of the camp. There seems to be camaraderie there. There seems to be clear direction coming from those who have the autonomy to make the decisions. Derek McInnes is very clear on what he's trying to cultivate in terms of spirit, in terms of work ethic within the team, and you can see that reflected in the players that he has brought in. People with strong minds, strong characters, good work ethic, and he's building the foundations of a team and a unit for the future. So these are just small steps in the right direction. We came back from 2 goals. It was a pre-season friendly. I get that. But it still takes a strength of mind to come back from 2 down, regardless of the importance of the fixture. So it's nice to see that. And the fact that we got out of it without any injuries, Stevie, is a very important thing as well at this time of year. We've got, we're playing every Thursday in August. We've got league games coming up. We've got a lot of football to play. So the fact that we get out of that heat and out of that training camp without any injuries is an absolute blessing. And the fact that we could get everyone on the park and all contributing. We don't know if all of them are going to be here in a couple of weeks' time, Stevie. There's still a lot of uncertainty around that. But everyone that contributed did their absolute best. And Derek McInnes said that as well in some of his press releases afterwards when he was interviewed, that he was very happy with the standard of the workmanship and with the effort from all the players. So good noises, good signs, a lot more work to be done, as Calvin said, but very positive in the beginning. So I'm encouraged by what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I like the response from Tochi Chukwueze. The first one arriving late in the box, cutting away a cutback, wasn't it? And then the second one, just a really fantastic strike. I would really like to see our midfield strike the ball a lot more. Calvin, we are ripping that midfield up. Dragojevic is imminent. We'll talk about that in a wee bit. And that's going to be the third newcomer coming in, Devlin, Neil, and Dragojevic. They've all got something in common. They're all team players. They're all hard-working guys. If I am Conor Barron, if I am Mohamed Diamande, if I'm Nico Raskin, I'm looking behind me because I think their time's up, all 3 of them. Nico, because it's good time for the club to cash in, and he's probably wanting to move to a bigger and better club in his eyes, or a bigger new challenge, whatever you want to call it, which is fine by me. I don't mind that from Nico. If that's the case, he might not even be wanting to go. We don't know. We're just going by the noise of what's happening. But we're certainly ripping that midfield up. So when Tochi Chukwueze bangs in a couple last night, he's done himself no harm.
Yeah, as a player that we looked at before, there was very bright spells, but just like everybody, and you don't know, that could have been to do with the full team really struggled towards the end of the season. But initially, Chukwueze just won everything. He reminded me of that player, just nothing was getting past him. The old phrase of 40% of the world's covered by water, the other 60% is covered by Chukwueze. That's what a lot of us were saying at that initial spell. He picked up everything. And he's probably maybe one of the players that are suited toward playing a 2. He can use his running power. He is good on the ball, and we have seen he can score goals. He looks an intelligent player when he's asked to do certain things. So maybe the tactics last year didn't suit that midfield. I think, to be honest, for the last how long the midfield three just hasn't worked at all. Players have been trying to do jobs that aren't their strengths, and then they all start just bundling into each other. We don't have enough runners going beyond. And it was nice to see midfield last night. Dan Neil was in the box. Chukwueze was in the box, because for the first one, it's Dan Neil that knocks it back from the penalty spot area. So just things like that. How many times have we seen our strikers get so isolated that it literally is the striker versus 4 defenders and then our 4 midfielders sitting in front of them? We haven't had a midfield that's been willing to give you that extra run, the extra man in the box. So it was great to see. And Chukwueze, I think, is a player that's got a lot about him. And he might just need that wee bit of time to settle, but it was also a long season for him, playing in 2 different, very different environments. So looking forward to seeing that, but I'm looking forward to seeing how the midfield shake-up does happen, because I think it's something pretty much every podder that we've got and pretty much every fan has now said for so long, it's not working. We've got too many players under the same bracket. They're all, they probably can't even agree if they're a 6 or an 8 or a 10. They just want to move into their own space, and then it always ends up back in that horseshoe. So it'll be interesting to see who leaves, who stays, and what it does for the rest of the transfer budget.
Yeah, Amrit, as we said, it'll do Tochi Chukwueze no harm at all. Calvin, I think, hinted at it earlier on in the show that the players last night, as soon as they were finished, they went and done another session out on the pitch. I think they got taken to the gym afterwards as well. So they're getting hammered pretty hard. There was a picture of Ben Godfrey getting taken away with a coach. I went and put this up on socials last night. I say the same thing, that he went to get a warm down, done a full warm down, then went to the gym. He's not injured. That was just normal procedure, as Derek McInnes commented on afterwards, that they looked pretty solid. So with that in terms, in such a hard working sort of week in Spain and Chukwueze popping up and stuff like that, I mean, I've got to think overall this has been worthwhile.
Yeah, I think absolutely, Stevie, because you've got to remember as well that this is obviously a new regime and they need time away from the noise and the chaos of Glasgow. They need some time to spend where it's just them and they're creating those connections and those bonds. And I don't want to sound like Russell Martin, that, we all get in a trust circle and hold hands and meditate collectively or anything like that. But these are their colleagues. These are their friends. These are people they're going to spend an awful lot of time with. So you need to create that connection with your colleagues. And I think you can do that in a place like Spain, a shared experience. And I think it's really, really important. And it will give some of the players, Stevie, I've always thought with these kind of things, you'll find that out of the shadows, some obscure player will emerge. And it will be Derek McInnes' go-to man. It will be someone that perhaps we haven't even thought of, someone that we've written off, someone we haven't considered. But Derek McInnes, like most managers, when they come into a new job, they'll find someone who's on the fringes that we've never even paid any attention to whatsoever. And they'll create them into a player or a stalwart or a standard in this team. And I don't know who that person's going to be, but that person will emerge at some point. And I'm really excited to see who it could be. It could be Ant-Man. It could be Chukwueze. It might even be fellow Asgard. We don't know yet, but I'm quite excited to see what that prospect is, Stevie. But if there is a man to get that out of players who haven't been producing, I think it's absolutely someone with the strength of mind and character as Derek McInnes. He has my backing wholeheartedly and he has my faith. And I'm really excited to see what he can do, because we're seeing all the right things happening in Spain. And may he bring that back over to Scottish shores in the coming days and get to it on Wednesday night and then Sunday and then a week on Friday or 2 weeks today and get right in amongst it. So let's go.
What I would say quickly on Telo Asgard is he cut his holiday short. He only took a week, and desperate to get back and desperate to work with the club.
Well, that tells you everything you need to know about the laddie. He's ready. He's good to go. I'm telling you, Stevie, I'm going to get pelters, but he's my go-to this year. If we keep him, I think he's going to be the player of the year. I really do. Oof, I'm excited.
That's very different to what you said in the end of season review, Amrit.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
I'm pretty sure there was a window getting chucked at it.
No longer Calvin, Amrit, no longer an Alsatian going round in circles looking for someone.
He's a phoenix rising from the ashes.
What? Love the metaphors.
Derek McInnes spoke really well on Rangers television afterwards, Calvin. Said they were very strong at times, needed to play more as a team, trying to install that in pre-season. He also said Rangers had some good players individually, but not a team last season, which was really interesting from him. And then the big thing was he never hinted at it. He came right out and said it. He hopes that we'll get a couple of things done by St Etienne. We know one of them is Vanja Dragojevic. So we'll talk about him in a while. We don't know who the other business is. So, you know, that's the exciting thing. Nobody really knows what's going on at Ibrox. And we'll talk about that. There's a lot of, I don't know, speculation, panic. I'm very relaxed. I said at the start 10 would come in. We're now just almost at 7 and there's more business to be done. We're going to get 10. There'll be, in my opinion, in the coming weeks, easily 6 to 8 going out the door. I expect that will rise as well after that. So there's a lot more business to be done. But that was nice to hear Derek McInnes. He's been very vocal. We've done some great work, but there's still a lot more to do.
Yeah, and it's what we probably as a fan base should expect, because there was wholesale changes required from last season. I think we've seen that was, I don't even know if you could say it was the start of a cycle, but it's certainly the end of a cycle when it came to certain players. It just, things haven't worked in the transfer market, a lot of different options. We've seen too many of the same players come, and as like we said, we're a team that requires a good bit of experience, a bit of knowledge, just a bit of presence. And by experience, I don't mean 30-year-old players in the park, just players that have played games in high-pressure situations. Pulling all these players that we had before from Championship, League One, youth football, it can only get you so far. It can work if you've got those players that have got 100-odd games underneath them, under their belt, that can carry them through, but we didn't have it. And I think McInnes is the perfect man to start to blend that together. We've seen what he done with Hearts last year. He obviously had the Jamestown Analytics, and their team would have been telling him to go for a certain amount of players, but he obviously put his own stamp in it. He got those players that understood Scottish football and players that he knew could make them work, players that would have been wrote off for just as an average SPL team. So it's key that McInnes gets his say in these signings, and I think we've seen his kind of players come in now. We might see those better quality players come through the door now before we see the ins and outs. But I still think there's a lot more business to be done out with the ones we've been rumoured with so far. We still need to target the wings. There's a lot more to come if the rumours are true about Gassama that we'll probably talk about in a little bit. There's a lot of changes still to come in those attacking areas. I think defensively, they'll start to slow down because the midfield's the big focus now, and then we'll look to add that quality on the front foot.
Amrit, Derek McInnes is, I don't know if you saw the interview last night. I hope you did. He's a very good speaker. He spoke quite clearly, lots of praise for the players. The small negative, Connor Barron had a knee injury. We knew about that. We told you on the show that the reason he was in London was because he was seeing a specialist because he had fluid in his knee after a small knock, and that's exactly what Derek McInnes has reported now as well. That being the small, slight, I really like Derek McInnes from the point that he speaks well, and he's shown that kind of. And what I liked about him as well is that, do you know what he said about St Etienne, where he talked about getting a positive result? I want to walk down that tunnel while I win. That's what it's about here. I want to walk down while I win. I really like that because other people have said, you know, it's friendlies and we want to win in a certain way and all this pish that you heard last year and all this nonsense that gives you horrible flashbacks. The absolute truth is you need to win. And Derek McInnes is talking about a friendly against St Etienne, and he wants to win. He wants to walk up the tunnel with a victory in his back pocket. I love that.
Yeah, Stevie, this is the thing. A lot of us, we're all guilty of it. And sometimes I think I'm guilty of it as well, where we talk about the insignificance of certain fixtures. But when you're at Glasgow Rangers, every game is significant, more than significant. It's life or death. It's not football, it's war when you're at Rangers. I don't care if it's a friendly. It is. It has to be. And you have to go into these games with that mentality when you play for us. If you don't, then I'm afraid that the club's just too big for you and you have no place being a Glasgow Rangers player. And Derek McInnes understands that, and he wants to start with a win at Ibrox, his first game. Of course he does. And he wants to set his stall out. He wants to create and cultivate that winning mentality, which has been lacking for so long within this group of players. And he's going to stress the fact that it doesn't matter who it is, and it doesn't matter that it's a friendly, we're going to win this game. And the players need to understand that. They can't go out there blasé, easy-ozy. Oh, it's about getting minutes in the legs. No, it's not getting minutes in the legs. It's about dying on your knees if you're playing for us at Ibrox. It's as simple as that. They're going to be supported to the hilt on Wednesday because all of us are champing at the bit to get back to Ibrox on Wednesday night. The place will be absolutely rocking with optimism and positivity. So the players need to understand the significance of this fixture, because I'm excited to see what they're going to offer us. And Derek McInnes understands what us as fans demand and what we deserve. And the players need to understand that. And I'm sure they will, because he will communicate that very clearly indeed, because he's not the type of guy to shy away. If he's got something to say, he'll say it. And that's what needs to be done. So, I can't wait, Stevie. Is it Wednesday yet? Is it Wednesday yet?
Stevie, you really like Martin and Roll as well. Yeah, of course I did, Jamie. That's absolutely true. I'm a Rangers fan. I tend to try and be optimistic on who we're bringing in and what we're doing. A lot of people have a go at me and say that I'm bloody miserable. The truth is, honestly, I'm quite a happy-go-lucky guy. Amrit and Calvin have been on match days with me. I'm quite happy. But you know what? Sometimes when you're hosting and stuff like that, here I like to let the boys, I'm doing comments and stuff like that. I probably do concentrate quite a bit. But yeah, I did like Russell Martin. I thought he spoke really well. Of course he was smooth. He pulled Lucy Pinder, for fuck's sake. Of course he pulled. And Danny Rowe was just suave, wasn't he? He had the style and the, and he was a very likeable guy. But Dale, I think, I think understands it. And of course I'm going to like him. I'm going to give him the same opportunity as absolutely everybody. So, yeah. Moving on, Manny Fernandez, quite troubling actually. He kind of admitted the squad didn't really believe they could win the title last season. Hints at weakness and mentality, lack of what's required at Rangers. He said we went into the run in the wrong mindset. Well, that showed because we got pumped 4 in a row, didn't we? So, Derek McInnes has spoken to him. He showed where the manager feels he can improve. Totally aligned with the manager on this. Happy at Rangers, has 4 years here and wants to enjoy every minute. Troubling to hear them say that, boys, to be honest. Like, talk about mentality, and there was a lot of that going about, but sure, you know what, the truth is that they did lack mentality. It was wrong, and it showed when we got there. The going gets tough to go top the league and everything else, and they bottled it. I think it was obvious, but I think the players that they're coming in now are different. You can see it, they're all team players. Ross McCrory, Lawrence Shankland. Lawrence Shankland, for a guy that scores goals, is a very involved team player. He's a leader. Dan Neal's the same. Cammy Devlin's the same. Dragojevic is 20 and captain the Partizan Belgrade. So a lot of guys are coming in, they're all captains and things like that. So yeah, I think, Calvin, that the whole weakness and mentality and everything, and when Derek talks about lots of individuals in the team, I think it's pretty obvious that that's what he's doing. So we might be getting a team and a signings at the moment where we all look at it and say, where's this flair? Where's the star men? Where's the star wingers coming from? And we'll talk about that soon. But what Rangers needed was a team, a collective, everybody working for each other. Derek McInnes, to me, is identified that and came in. And Amrit, jump in after Calvin, because I want to get your opinion on that as well.
Yeah, but it's a big thing. It's something that's not new to us. We've seen it for too many seasons now that certain players just couldn't handle the mustard. I think if we're being honest, really honest with ourselves, fans, we got excited about us getting back into the title race. But realistically, it wasn't that smooth a transition. It wasn't like we were going out and just hammering team after team after team, pulling ourselves back in. We got back in because other teams absolutely shat the nest. Let's be honest about it. Rule let us down too many times. Leaned into the split against the top 6. What was it? 4 points we picked up from them. We drew at Livingston. It wasn't a smooth transition, and it's probably just sums up that team. They performed well under times where the pressure wasn't at its top. They got themselves back into that title race, and then they plummeted all the way down when it mattered. And it's something, Dell's a fan, let's be honest. He knows exactly what happened with those players. He's seen it on the pitch numerous times last year. He managed to overrun them. He's seen certain players go into hiding. So as an opposition manager coming in, he knows what the weaknesses was, because he'd have had that Hearts team targeting them every single time they went and played. He'll have seen players who've let him down on big occasions. He'll have watched it. He'll have monitored it. He'll have his own coaching team looking at it. And we've seen a lot of kind of players disappear out the back door and out the front door as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I think you can see with every single player that they bring in, they've either had captain's mentality before, they're a young player try to absolutely dominate in the league, like we've got with Dragojevic. Cammy Devlin, you watch his interview before when he's at Hearts, he says, you're a bit. I joke with Gary Devlin all the time. You're much better than what I thought. I thought you were just a wee doggy type player that could get herself around, but you talked about him driving standards every single day in training. And we had a lot of fans looking at that Cammy Devlin signing going, nah, he's average. But last year's Cammy Devlin stats were up with the best in the league. And you add in that, he drives standards every single day. What should every single Rangers player be doing in training? Driving standards every single day. So I think Derek McInnes has nailed it at the head with the types of players that comes in. And now you might see those European players and that come in with that little bit extra quality. But he's got the groundwork to a basic, strong squad. The core of the team starting to build itself up. And that leadership group we had is nearly totally dismantled. And he's now got his own players in the door to set the standards. So I'll be really looking forward to see who else he brings in. And some of the players that might kick on that get brought out of the wilderness. He seems to like Bajrami a wee bit with some of his performances he's had and his attitude and training, things like that. So he might be a surprise. We've all said it for the last couple of seasons. He's a player that you can tell has got ability. But we've all said that he's probably a 10, never really had that opportunity. So it will be interesting to see what players, like Amrit talked about earlier, that he can pull that extra 10, 20% out of straight away.
Yeah, Stevie, a lot of good points that Calvin made there. Just to pick up on a couple of them. Last season, we didn't lose the league because it was a talent issue. It was a mental issue. That's what did it. We had a very talented group of football players with very weak minds. We need players who rise above adversity, not lie down in front of it. And that's the problem that we had. And Derek McInnes recognised that straight away. He recognised that during the season when they beat us twice in the league, didn't he? So he already knew where the deficiencies were and where the weaknesses were long before he walked in the door at Rangers. And his approach has been to sort out not the skill or the talent or the flair or the creativity. That will come. But his first order of business was to change the culture within the club. And you can see that by the acquisitions that he's made in terms of the characters that he now has, because he needs to cultivate a culture that says that if someone is not performing to a certain standard, there's not just going to be one or two players holding you to account. There's going to be an entire team of leaders, of fighters, of Rangers men who will hold you to account. So you won't be able to escape that culture and that environment and the energy that that brings into the dressing room and onto the pitch. So that's really, really important. And Derek McInnes recognises that. He thinks, right, let's stop the leak first, and then we can worry about fixing things. So I think that's the approach that he's taken. And yes, at the moment, you can look at our midfield, and if you compared it to, I don't know, in terms of BMI, at the moment, our midfield is overweight, verging on obese, right? So what we really need to do is we need to cut down a wee bit. I understand that before we can then get other players in. Dragojevic and Hertodal and Lewis Ferguson, these all sound like great signings, but we need to understand that they can only come in if we lose Dio, Raskin, Antman, whoever else it may be, Barron. There's so many, Bajrami, all that kind of stuff. We need to make space in the squad first and let it breathe and then bring some more in. But Derek McInnes understands that, and it's almost like a chessboard at the moment. He's moving the pieces around, and he's going to have to make some moves first before he makes the others. We're looking for the core spirit fighting players that we currently have brought in and are attracting, and then we'll look to add some flair, some creativity, and some real quality in the final third. And we obviously need to sort out our back four as well. We know that. But for me, it's the right moves at the right time. But there's lots of time to go, Steve. It's 6 weeks until this window shuts. So there's a lot of decisions to be made, a lot of ins and outs. So we just need to be patient. But unfortunately, as Rangers fans, as we know, we want everything done yesterday, don't we? So patience is definitely not a virtue for Rangers fans.
Massive thank you again to one of the podcast major supporters, which is Chris Gibson. Gifted another 54 lads podcast memberships. Chris has now donated well over 300 odd to the podcast, and that's unbelievable. I think we're now well over 1,300 members, which is absolutely incredible for us. We hope you'll stay with us, and it's a brilliant thing. For all the new members, go and check out Mark Walter's podcast with David Hurd. That is the one where we're currently doing just for members only. And we'll have a lot more members. So we'll see the lot more members we get and everything else, then we'll start doing extra stuff and things like that. We do try. At the moment, we're putting out a show every single day, which is an incredible effort by everyone. So thank you, Chris. still got to email us. Remember, we'd really like Chris to get you on the show and come and talk to Davey about your Rangers journey and everything else. I believe you told us you were out in Dubai and you love the show and stuff. So let's get you on and try and arrange that, because we'd like to have you on as a thank you as well for everything you've done for the show. So moving on, folks, transfer time. What I'm about to tell everybody is as I know it, and people can take it or not. I think I've been pretty reliable in the past. It's not always been correct. Of course it's not, because I don't think anybody can. But I'm going to say a few things in the coming minutes. The first one is Vanja Dragojevic will be a Rangers player. We all know that now. That deal is in its final stages, and he will sign for as much as we think around £4.5-5 million ish. We don't exactly know. What do we know about him? 20 years old, captain of Partizan Belgrade, capped by Serbia already. I think twice he's got 2 caps, I think, for Serbia. We also know that he was linked with teams for £15 million, and Partizan didn't want to sell, but now they're having to sell because I think they're in a wee bit of financial strife. So Rangers have plucked this guy. What I will say is that Dragojevic was one of Rangers' top targets going into the summer window. There is others, but he is one of them. Rangers have got the deal and they're delighted with him. So Calvin, this is a boy who... No, before I come to Calvin, the boys are going to laugh about this. My partner, Pamela, I've told you this before, she watches the podcast, is really into astrology and star signs and everything else, and she believes that, like, some of the players that we've had, and we went through them all, have just been weak mentality and all that kind of stuff. So she put out our wee 442 and what the best star signs was and everything else for this player. It turns out Dragojevic is born in January. I think that makes him a Capricorn, which is, if I remember rightly, I'm starting to get into all this stuff, honestly, and it's true. Like, it's unbelievable. And that makes him, he's very dogged, he's a fighter, he loves his work, goes about and all team stuff and everything else. So he is an ideal position for a 6. So there you go, Calvin. I'm backing this boy. I think he's going to be, and we all know that Shankland's a star man. He's the Leo. He's the one that wants to score the goals and all that sort of stuff. Honestly, I find it all fascinating now. Plus, she's hot, so, you know, I listen to what she says. But Calvin, he's here. He's going to be our new... Well, he's maybe not going to be our new number 6. He's going to be our new... He is a specialist 6. I think that's clear. But he's in the door, and we're looking forward to him.
Yeah, I think you need to get that coming up. The Rangers astrology pod in the pipeline. I'm into that. I think you could be a great host for it, and you could get Pamela on to help you with that one. But here's one that I've kind of sorted out in terms of, you'll like it. It's done in the Football Manager style of rate their different characteristics out of 5 stars. So you'll be able to understand this easy, Stevie, right? So leadership, 5 out of 5 is what they're predicting is potential, okay? Defensive intelligence, 5 out of 5. Passing, 4 out of 5 stars. So they said the biggest thing he struggles with that Hollywood pass, but in general, as a controlling midfielder, it's going to work really well. Physicality, 4 out of 5. I'm calling that a lie. If you're getting an absolute stalwart of a Serbian in here, he's coming in here to be a 5 out of 5. Composure, this is something I think in midfield and in the team that really relates to the mentality thing. Composure, 5 out of 5. Not fazed by anything, can control the ball in tight areas, loves playing it out from deep, but can take the ball forward. That's perfect for the man that's sitting at the bottom of the 6, or if he's playing that as just the kind of more central midfield, doesn't do the same running forward. What do you think, Stevie? That sounds like your type of football manager if you're looking for a number 6.
That is, mate. Do you know what was nice about that is C stars out of 5, and I could just about follow that, Calvin. And
That's what I thought. It related to the astrology as well, those stars and things like that, didn't it? So I thought, let's go with that one. But yeah, I think he's a player that suits Scottish football perfectly. Everything that I've seen, everything that I've read, he just looks like that, just really calm midfielder. And it's something that we've probably lacked. But like, it's like a hot potato when you get the ball in midfield sometimes, and that's why it ends up side to side. You just need that player that could just say, I'm taking control. We've looked for somebody that can take the game by the scruff of the neck, and that's perfect. It can be the destroyer in the middle that gets about and gets in people's faces, but he can also make those smart passes. And how many times have we looked at the midfield and went, Why does he not just feed it through that gap and let the wingers run into it? They never do it. It's always a backwards pass. It's always a sideways pass. It's always straight to the feet. And Andrew Phillips made him sound like Rodri. Potentially, this is why he's so good. This is why these teams have went from 15 million for such a young age. We are identifying players that have this potential now. It could be perfect for us. It doesn't mean he's got a 5 out of 5 in world football, but it means for Rangers football in the SPL, he could be exactly what we need. And I'm really looking forward to having him in the midfield. And I just like that he seems very demanding on the park. A player that lets nobody get away with anything at 20 years old. You don't get that very often. The younger players that come through tend to either be overconfident or a bit resilient, whereas he seems like a leader straight away. So it's perfect for me.
Amrit, this midfield hasn't been right for a long time. We spoke about it earlier. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. When you've got Diamande, I think it was Chikwani, wasn't it? Raskin at Tynecastle, that Blair Spittle comes on, destroys the three of them. Something's not right about how we were set up. Has that affected the wingers that then can't get the chances for the strikers? Has it made the fullbacks and the defence too open? I think probably. That's Derek McKinnon's biggest challenge. This guy is a specialised six. I have been crying out for a specialised six. I wanted Elliot Watt. It turns out that Rangers looked at Elliot Watt. I think his injury in January probably put the club off. He's went to Turkey and a smashing deal for him, so good luck to him. So for a specialised six, Vanya Dragojevic was one of the club's star signings of the summer. They've went out and got him. That'll be announced, we hope, quite soon. You never know with Rangers. But that's, in terms of the one that they wanted and everything else, and, you don't want to give them too much of a big build-up. We're still relatively unknown as supporters. I don't know a lot about this boy at all. I've read up on him. It all seems positive. What's your thoughts on Vanya Dragojevic, Amrit?
Yeah, I think he's a hot prospect, Stevie. There's no doubt about that. He's 20 years old, but I mean, I'm reiterating what Calvin said. But any 20-year-old that can captain a side like Partizan Belgrade, for me, there's got to be something in there. There must be a mixture of ability, technical ability, footballing ability, of mentality, of guile, of courage, of bravery, of leadership. All of these qualities and virtues are necessary for you to be a captain of any football team, far less someone as demanding as Partizan Belgrade. And the fact that he's Serbian, Stevie, I'm not passing judgment on an entire nation, but Serbians are hard, like they are, right?
Going to be an angry wee fucker, isn't he? So
yeah.
that's wee, like, hardy, angry wee fucker. Like, that's what he's going to be.
But Stevie, we've missed that, I think, for so long. And, I'm not saying that's going to be the only aspect to his game. Of course it's not. But you need people like that just hate losing and like confrontation and like a bit of physical rough and tumble in the park, that aren't scared to get into tackles, because that spills over into everyone else as well. That, we don't want to be tiptoeing around games anymore and sleepwalking, for 10, 15 minutes and letting games pass us by. And characters like Dragojevic will make sure that doesn't happen. He's only 20, so he may not necessarily be a shoe-in starter week in, week out. We don't know how much football we can get out of him or how much you can expect from him at 20 years old. So I think there will be a blend of other midfielders coming in. You might find that over time he does solidify his place in the team, but we need to be patient. That's the big thing with some of these young guys that are coming in, Stevie. Yes, they're hot prospects. Yes, we're excited, but let's not do what we do as fans, that if they have a bad debut, that we just completely dismiss them out of hand, that we stick them on the recycling heap and say they're rubbish, get rid of them. That's not the way that things need to be. We need to give these guys time. We're investing in this guy and in his future, and we believe there's talent there, but we've got to give him the time and the space to breathe in order to show us what he can do. And that's incumbent on the Rangers fans to give him that space. So a bit of patience and a bit of tenderness perhaps from Rangers fans will be needed.
Fuck no. He'll get 7 minutes the way that everybody else gets.
Like every other cunt. No.
Exactly. Not quite that word, but aye, that's exactly what he's going to get. He'll get 5 minutes before we all say yay or nay to him. Most of us judge these players in the warm-up, don't they? So, right, listen. The next big one is Dal. Everybody's asking about Dal. What's going on with Dal? have we lost out? Everything else. I can only tell you what I know. Dal is not I would call a star target for Rangers this summer, like it or not. He is somebody they're very keen on. He is somebody that they would like, and they're waiting on it. Dal wants to come to Rangers. He's in no rush. There needs to be movement first. Rangers are in a position where if Nico, Diamande, Conor Barron and things go, then there will be movement there. At the moment, a bit top heavy, so things have to happen. He's keen on Rangers. Rangers are keen on him. So let's just wait and see where it is. I think Jens Dahl is somebody that Rangers have watched for a very long time. So let's just say, or let's just see where that's going to go. We do know that Nico Raskin, his agent, is talking to clubs. We do know that he's open to the possibility of moving. So that one needs to go. Cardiff are interested in Dal. So Dal's saying, and the word from his agent team over there is, and he's in no rush and he wants Rangers. So we just have to wait now. If he goes to Cardiff, he goes to Cardiff, and we wish him all the best. We were in a position in previous years where we've lost players to other teams. The truth is, that's going to happen in a transfer window. Rangers have a lot of targets. There's a lot of players. There's ones that they absolutely want. There's ones that they're in for. There's ones that they might not. But a lot of things are in the pipeline. Danilo will leave in the coming days. He'll go to Botafogo with a loan move with money to go. So yeah, he's going to move. John Suter is close to going back down to England, or down to England rather. Cifuentes will be told to leave. Clinton Enciala has been told to leave. There's interest allegedly from Gassama to Bruges for £7 million. I don't think Rangers see Jedi Gassama as a £7 million player when they turned down 10 from Monaco. So I think Bruges are going to have to go higher. But this is where it becomes interesting, because Besiktas have just got Mo Salah. So Czerny's position then goes further down. You look at things happening, like if Nico goes, it'll start a wee kind of domino effect for us, and we're just waiting for these things to fall in place. We sit here as fans and we're very active, and we want things done immediately, and we want everything done. The truth is that Rangers came out and spoke really highly of Danny Rule, said they were keeping him, and 3 or 4 weeks later he was gone because the club knew what was going on behind the scenes, which were that Red Bull were really interested in Danny Rule and they could move for him. So instead of punting him out the door and it costing Rangers £3-4 million, they sat tight on him, knowing that another club were coming in. We spoke about it and speculated at the time, maybe, well, that's what happened. There's absolutely nothing to say that there's loads of things going on behind the scenes at the football club, and we just don't know about it. We're fans. So we get little bits and pieces of information, which we share with you. And I'll say it again, I think Rangers sitting at 7 coming in with Dragojevic will sign another 3 at least. On top of that, to take it to that magical 10 that I predicted. You could get more after that. It just depends on what happens. 6 or 8 are going to leave this football club. There's a lot more business to do. As Amrit says, there's 6 or so weeks going. I actually think there's longer. Is it not longer because of the World Cup?
I think it's the 3rd of September it shuts, so it's an extra few days. It's something like
a couple of days or something like that, isn't it? Yeah. So, listen, there's time to do it. Somebody says we need quality before we go to Dundee United. The truth is, this squad does have quality. Gassama is a quality player. Curtis is a quality player. Shanklin will score goals. Nadiri, Chermiti, Neil, Dragojevic, Cammy Devlin. There's plenty in there. The back line, Fernandez and Godfrey's a bit light. We know that. We want a centre half. Still need somebody on the left to help Romans in there. Right back, Ross McCrory's in for a reason, and he'll probably start most games. Big goalie arrives on Monday, Pandur, and he'll be in as well. So, listen, there's absolutely plenty to be happening. Dal's going to be one of those ones. It might happen, it might not. And we just need to wait and see with regards to that. I'm pretty relaxed about it, ladies and gentlemen. I know that's easy to say. We get linked with 100 players every time, and we're going to get some, we're not going to get some. I don't tend to get overly excited about guys coming in until they're actually here and they're in the door and we have a look at them and they get their 5 minutes. So let's see how they turn out. Calvin, there's going to be so many twists and turns. Like Sadal, Czerny, Lewis Ferguson have all been linked. We're getting names flung about at us, and we don't even know if these names are true. We can only speculate. We're only fans. Like, we can only talk about it. We get the odd insight. Chris Jack is very good. Joshua Barry, Andy Newport, and that. These are the guys that we look to that give us a kind of inside track. We get wee bits and pieces. We share. But in reality, most fans don't know, and myself included. I'm not saying about anybody else. We could just have to wait and see, and I don't see the point in getting up nor down in the likes of Dal or whatever.
Yeah, it's like you said, as Amrit said earlier, the squad is now starting to bloat itself back up as these players come in. We obviously lost players through loan deals finishing and contracts expiring, but we haven't put too many out the door, and that'll come. And we need to be very careful that we don't just say we go spend the 79 million that's predicted for Dow. You can't just go buy him when you've still got Raskin, Barron, Asgard, Bajrami, Diamande on top of the players we're expected to 100% keep. We need to be very careful that we don't just chuck money at it and then you're left with a 35-man squad. I've seen too many teams kind of disappear doing that. You end up with players that are just there, they're unhappy. We need to have a competitive squad. So we need to get some bodies out the door and then bring these players in. And that's like you said, players will only wait for so long in some situations and then they need to make their move because they can't wait to the last minute and it all falls through. So it'll be interesting to see I think we'll probably get one, maybe two more in right away in this kind of next week period, just as McInnes predicted. It then becomes who can we shift out to clear up that wage bill. And then you might see your Chelseas, etc., become available because their team started spending some money. And that's where the Gassama rumours came from. It came from them selling their winger to Arsenal. And there was reports of them being interested before and they liked looking when we played them last year. Here. There we go. So it'll be interesting to see everything that happens. There'll be a lot more to come. We've already said we're looking to reshape the midfield, so there will be departures that allow us to bring people in. We've all predicted we haven't really replaced, like say, Mikey Moore in that from last year in the squad. There's the four strikers, Danilo potentially goes, and then front line, you're looking for maybe one more to go to bring the replacement in. Like we've said, left back's quite light, so there is a few names kicking about like James Penrice, and that kind of makes sense, but it's probably came from the fact we've been linked with him before. Derek McInnes used to manage him. And that's where that one probably comes as well. But she said there'll be plenty happening in the background that we have absolutely not a Scooby. And let's hope it's Messi or something like that, because you never know.
He's no bad, that wee guy, Messi. He was
doesn't even need to run. You can just set him up front. He can just turn up in the last third. That'll do.
By the way, tipped France, Spain beat them. Tipped England, Argentina beat them. But I will say,
do not tap because I've got a sweepstake. Don't tap them. I don't want the curse.
Argentina the other night, I thought they were absolutely brilliant. England, what they were doing, falling so deep into that, I'll never know. But Argentina, Spain should be a cracker. Really looking forward to that. But Amrit, in terms of the summer, in terms of names that are linked and everything else, and just keeping a kind of lid on it, there seems to be an outcry on social media that we're not going to get Dal or anything like that. I think this has got a long way to play, and we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, there's so much speculation, Stevie. Nobody really knows apart from maybe a handful of guys in the inner circle in Ibrox. Let's be honest. Everything else is just pure speculation. That's all it is. Listen, Rangers will do a lot of business between now and the end of the season, no doubt about it. A lot of things are going to happen. There'll be a lot of things that we don't expect as well. Let's just understand that as well. There will be some players that we think are going to leave the club that don't and are here at the end of the window, and we'll have to get something out of them, because you can't guarantee that just because you've identified half a dozen you want out the door doesn't mean that they will go. You've got to find suitable clubs or loan deals or transfers that work for the club, and you're not always going to get that. So lots of business to be done, Stevie. Lots of moving pieces, lots of moving parts. I'm excited by it. There will be certain chain reactions that go off. Like one piece will fall and it will set then consecutive results or outcomes, which will lead to certain things happening. But we don't know how that's going to play out. There's so many things that can happen. And it's not just what happens at Rangers. Like Calvin said, you know, if other clubs sell someone and identify a player that they want and it happens to be a Rangers player, then all of a sudden that sets off another chain reaction. So we just don't know. But I'm enjoying the journey. It's very exciting. I love this time of year. It's awful not being at Ibrox. Don't get me wrong. And you do think, God, how do I spend my Saturdays? This is awful. My life sucks without Rangers, which is a really disarming reality reality, by the way. But I enjoy all this, the exciting stuff. It's a bit like a soap opera, and you feel like you're in it. You feel like you're one of the guys in it. You're like, oh, what about this and what about that? And have you heard this and have you heard that? So it is exciting. But I know, and I have faith and trust in the recruitment team. I've trust in Derek McInnes. I've trust in the hierarchy of the club that they'll get it right. They'll make some mistakes along the way, but I think ultimately they'll get it right because they have to. There is no other alternative. They've got to get it right this season, and we've got to win the league. Because if we do not win the league after spending, well, what was it, 30, 40 million last summer, spend the same again this summer, you spend 60 million in 24 months and you win hee-haw, then you're getting to the stage where Rangers fans are really getting pretty angry, and justifiably so. So the stakes are very high this season, Stevie. There's no doubt about it. But we've started off in the right way and we're making the right moves. So I'm very enthused about what's to come this season. I can't wait, Stevie.
Massive thanks to Alistair Neely as well, who's gifted 24 Lads Rangers podcast membership. Thank you so much. No, Ben Godfrey did not get injured yesterday. We've already spoke about that, John. Before we go, 1 week to this very moment, Four Lads will play Bar 442, Scotty Arfield's bar on Paisley West. It sold out in 7 days. It was an unbelievable response. It'll be open downstairs, the lounge, from 6 o'clock. And there will be food on, so you can get homemade soup, chicken, veg, haggis, pakora, fish and chips, beef or chicken burger. Mr. Singh's pies will be on as well. Chicken boona, chili chicken, spicy chicken wrap. So the guys sent that over today for us, so they'll be on. What was I going to say? There will be a raffle as well, and I did have somewhere. Yep, here they are. So with everybody that buys 3 raffle tickets for a tenner, it'll be a £5 for a strip or 3 for a tenner. You do get one of these official Yusuf Chermiti badges. I think you can just see them there. And the wee Yusuf guy, he spins round and round and round and round to do the wee overhead kick. So if you buy 3, you get a free one of these, which were kindly donated by Zenith Coins as well. So if you're on the night and you want one of them, we'll be selling them as well. Everything that we raise goes towards getting Amrit and co all the equipment and stuff they need, just for them not to be able to use it, is always the best way. No, I jest. But we're really looking forward to that live show. But there's so much coming up. Sunday, the guys are back. Sunday show live. Monday, we're back. Then we're going to go Tuesday night this week live. Or next week rather. Wednesday we'll be covering the game from Ibrox Gantry for St Etienne. Thursday the history show is back. Friday night live again. Saturday Heart and Health is back for Sharon and James, and then on Sunday we'll have coverage from the West Ham game from the Gantry, and then there'll be a live Sunday night show as well. So almost a show every single day. For members, you can go and watch that Mark Walters one. There's lots of first and favourites. If you're a member and you want to get on the show, please get in touch with us, fourladsadream@gmail.com. Lovely email from James this morning with another email as well, suggesting a show and stuff that we could do, which we take into account and really appreciate all the feedback. A massive thanks to our sponsors as well, CBD Oil Scotland. Use their website, 30% off using the code 4Lads, and you can get into the draw for hospitality for West Ham. 2 fantastic tickets to give away. Our sponsors as well, Candid, who can forget, the ice cream specialists, LBJ Consultants, Elite Scooter Scotland, as well as Metaclad, our official roofing partner for Four Lads of Dream, and Elevate Cosmetics by Sharon, I beg your pardon, which you can get 10% off them as well if you fancy getting some. I need to be careful. You can't just come out and say facials and stuff now, can you? But that's all the cosmetic stuff and everything else they do over there. They lip fillers and make you all pretty and stuff like that. I, of course, do not need it because I'm chubby and I can't be fixed. But for all yous out there that like a wee bit of that treatment, you can go and get them. They're absolutely brilliant company. So please go and check them out. Huge thanks to our guest, Amrit, the one and only. Amrit, before you go, tell us a wee bit about Candid as well. We're delighted that you've extended your stay with us. The rumours that we said you weren't coming on the pod if you didn't are absolutely untrue. You're here to stay. We're going to get Amrit his own show soon as well, just as soon as he can master turning his laptop on. But
you held me to ransom, Stevie. You held me to ransom, and everybody knows it.
Tell us about Candid and where we can find you. And stuff.
Yeah, so Candid is a business based in Falkirk, which is where I'm from. We have stores in Denny, Grangemouth, Polmont, and Stennismuir. We've been running it now for 10 years, and we make our own Italian gelato. I make it fresh every day. If you don't believe that, have a look at our Instagram, Candid Ice Cream. We do fresh gelato, Italian style, every single day. We do waffles, pancakes, crepes, all those kind of things, all fresh, made to order in store. We do deliveries, collections. You can order on the app. You get a 10% discount with 4 lads if you order online. The code is 4, the number, and then lads, and that's it, and you get 10% off your basket. So yeah, really, really excited, Stevie. And the thing is, the business has become a platform for supporting something as important as 4 lads. So it brings together not only my work, but my passion as well. So it's great to be a very small part of such a big success that is Stevie Clifford's 4 Lads Had a Dream podcast.
No, it's not my podcast. It's everybody's podcast. Why do we have a discount for Candid and I didn't even know about it?
Because you don't listen, Stevie, because you're always on transmit. You need to be able to be calm.
I think that's because you're waiting for that freebie that you requested when you sent your address the other day.
Requested or demanded, Calvin.
Ransom, you weren't getting on the night unless you sent it, so let's hope it's in the post for him.
Calvin, thank you, mate. Much appreciated as ever.
Not a problem. And like we said earlier, if you want to see anything on all the 4 Lads socials, get on, follow, like us, share us, and if there's anything you want to see added to it, drop us a message or an email to Stevie and we can certainly get on it. But let's go the Rangers, that's all we can say.
Yeah, there is. We're on TikTok now, aren't we? Big
TikTok,
style.
Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, you name it, we're on it.
So yeah, I think we're fast approaching.
OnlyFans.
We are the only fans.
Yeah, something like that. I don't even. Oh my god. Only fans. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Anyway, moving on very quickly. TikTok, I think we're towards kind of 10,000 subscribers, aren't we, on TikTok? So if you're on TikTok, then get on there. I don't think Bebo exists anymore, but we could try and get that started again. But Crime Watch, no, not yet. Soon, not yet. So yeah, thanks to everybody. Really appreciate it. Everybody in the Stevie Wolf, oh dear. Everybody in the comments, and Jesus, I need to try and keep myself together. Everybody in the comments, everybody that's liked and subscribed, thank you very, very much. Yeah, over 3,000 watching. Everybody on a Friday night talk about Rangers. We are some support. Really looking forward to get going. We'll be back at Ibrox. Looking forward to another really successful partnership with Rangers this year as well. We have seats on the gantry, and we're really looking forward to it. We have again put in more advertising into the club. We're sponsoring Cathy Hill again this season, which we're really looking forward to doing. And maybe one day we'll get to sponsor a match on match day. I think that is exactly the kind of things we want to do and the kind of money we want to be putting back in the football club. And with all your support, especially Chris Gibson, we could actually do the Rangers transfer with the amount of money he's putting into 4 Lads. But we really, really appreciate it. So thank you, everybody, for your support. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the football. I think 3rd place playoff Friday and Saturday night, and then the big final on Sunday. You do have the live Sunday show as well in there, so the times might be adjusted so that everybody can watch the World Cup. I'll speak to the boys about that so that everybody can do that. On Sunday, before I go, Barlia football pitches at 2:00. We are doing a charity game for suicide prevention, as LD Talks versus the Scotland YouTube team, which features the likes of CJ Novo. I am going to be going along to be the guest manager of the YouTube team. Might get 5 minutes on the pitch as well. After all, I'm manager, so I can sub myself on. If they've got an extra large top, your old dad will be in there with the headers and stuff like that as well. So listen, it'd be lovely to see any of you that go along. There's stuff on social medias about that, so please go and check it out. CJ Novo is a diamond, and he's managed to get all the boys together. A bit of a reunion for going back to play that. So I'm really looking forward to it. As for Rangers, if there's any breaking news, we will continue. I waffled on a wee bit because I wanted to see if we were going to get any texts about an 8 o'clock announcement for Dragojevic. It's not happened yet, but he will be next in. It might be a Saturday morning one now, you never know. But thank you, everybody. Thanks to my guest, Amrit, Calvin, all our sponsors. If you haven't liked and subscribed on YouTube, please do. I think we're getting towards up there towards like 14,000 in that now. So if you haven't, please do. So thank you, everybody. Have a tremendous weekend. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the time with the family. Enjoy whatever it is you're doing. This time next week, we'll be playing a live show and heading towards the West Ham game on Sunday. And it's all go again, that special time of the year. And there'll be a couple of signings in by that St Etienne game, according to Derek. Let's hope so. Bye for now, folks. Take care. The Four Lads Rangers podcast is sponsored by Candid, LBJ Consultants, CBD Oil Scotland, Elite Scooter Scotland and Metaclad, Four Lads exclusive roofing partner. The Aesthetics Lounge by Sharon. In partnership with Black Rooster, Art of Gold and Rangers Youth Development Company. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Four Lads podcast is delighted to be sponsored by CBD Oil Scotland. Get a massive 30% off now for all their gummies and their oils. Go and check them out. These help with things like stress, anxiety, sleep patterns, mood, depression, even stuff like fibromyalgia. Go and check them out, cbdoilscotland.com. Use the code 4lads to get a massive 30% off. You enter right now and you'll be in the hospitality draw for tickets for Rangers versus West Ham, Derek McInnes's first game in charge, and you will get that opportunity not only to get 30% off, but you'll also be in the draw for hospitality tickets for West Ham. If you don't want to use the website, you can come into either shop here in Thornley Bank or in Kinnan Park. It's called Bits and Bongs. You go in there, use the code 4lads and you'll get a massive 30% off. We're delighted CBD Oil Scotland are sponsoring 4lads. Check it out and go and help yourself to some oils, some gummies with a fantastic 30% off.